Hello everyone, how are we doing today? I hope you're all well. I'm going to start today with a note to self, which is Hazel, please, from now on, when you finish the video, make sure that you have completed the picture so that you're not starting the following video with a brief rundown of the previous picture like I'm about to do today again. Here we have it, all sorted out, and there's our comments, which again I've outlined them with a little fine black pen, because that does make it much easier to see. This time I didn't have to go over the writing though. So right, that's finished. Now on to today's exciting project, because today we're using the final masterboard from the video. This is the one that came into being complete already. I'm putting this right in the back of the book now. We're on the final page practically. But that's okay, that's how I want it now. That's the way it's going to be. I've had a bit of a battle deciding what to do and what to call it, but I'm ready now. So we are looking at a sky. We're looking at what I'm calling a psychedelic sky. We don't get skies like this really in Africa, but we do get amazing sunsets. So I'm going to add some more to this background so that it just resembles the sky a little bit more. But first we glue. So this is going in here. I'm just going to use this page at the end of the day. It's all going to have glue on it, isn't it? Change my mind again. This is going to be the direction we're in. Of course, I wasn't very bright, was I? Because normally what I do is I put the first lot of glue on the actual book page, right here in the edge, and then once that is done, then I smear it further. Here's the bone folder. Let's call it a bone folder because I really don't know what it's called for screen printing. There we are. As usual, slightly over the edge of the page on two sides, but that's okay. What my plan is for this one, it's a little bit of a twist. It's something that works fantastically well, and I love the look of it. This is working on a book page. Now this is a very old book that was given to my mother as a child by some aunt of hers in the 1920s. So it's around about 100 years old, but the paper is almost rotten, and the subject of the book was not something that would appeal to modern people, because it was the story of a missionary woman saving the souls of little black children. So yeah, we won't go into that, but it's nice strong paper, as you can hear, so it's lovely for what I'm doing. What I'm going to do is, first I'm going to just fiddle a little bit with the background here. Let me get out my white paint. I'm going to do just a little bit of finger smooshing. Oops, that was not white paint. Hazel. Oh, that is white paint. It would have been lovely if I was suddenly slapping burnt umber all over the page, wouldn't it? Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to smoosh it with my finger. Spray a little bit of water here. I just want the sky to be showing a few bits of white as well as what it's showing us already. So I'm going to what I actually want to do is kind of white this down a bit so that it's not so not quite so bright. Okay, I've put that on. Now I'm just taking my wet wipe to turn the white down a bit. It's a lot better. I'm actually quite liking this. Just a little bit more white paint and then I think we're done. Yeah. Just have to work quickly here, which is why I'm not talking as much as I normally do when I'm working. But I need to focus on getting this the way I want it before it dries up on me and sends me back to square one, which is not exactly where I want to be. There we have it. That's quite nice. Now the plan is to put some sunflowers in a field. So what I've got here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it properly, but those pencil outlines of flower petals, and I do have some cut already, which I will show you now. They actually look rather lovely when they're done like this. I love doing things with old book pages because the effect is divine, I think. I love it. That one goes underneath. Here we go. See, this is what it's going to look like, which I think is rather splendid. Well, there we go. The background is now dry, thanks to the trusty little hairdryer. And I'm just cutting out the last few petals. I think I've got 3 here, and then I'm done. So bear with me, and you'll see how it's going. But this idea of using book pages, I think, is a lovely one, because it gives the things that you're doing more interesting visual texture, and at the same time I think it's lovely. I just love the look it gives one's work. But that, of course, is my opinion. Everybody else is entitled to their own. But yeah, this is what I like to do. There we go. Now we've got enough petals for 3 sunflowers, which I think will be just right for this little page. However, there. Now, what I need to do, I've made 21 of these little babies, so that we've got 3 sets of 7 petals to make the sunflowers. Now, what I'm going to do first is to just do some pencil lines. Those of you who know sunflowers will know that they grow with lovely upright stalks, straight up reaching for the sun every day. And an interesting thing actually about sunflowers is they turn and follow the sun, which is why they I think where they got their name from actually. But you'll see in the morning when the sun starts to rise, all the flowers turn their heads to the sun, and then they follow it around all day. It's amazing to see, and I find that fascinating. But that's me. Perhaps I'm different from other people, but for me, I think it's absolutely fabulous. Okay, so I'm doing 3 stalks here. I've made 2 the same length by mistake, but I will show you how we fix that, because what we're going to do is simply cover the stalk with the flower petals. Piece of old tacky. Right, so now I'm not going to do the leaves right now, but I need to paint the stalks, and you get beautiful bright green stalks that are about the thickness of a broom handle, if not thicker sometimes. So it's quite fascinating. Don't panic if you see a little ant trotting around on my table from time to time. This time of the year the ants are very active here, and they're constantly, well, this time of the year, of course, they're collecting food for the pantry, or when winter comes and there's not so much greenery around. Why they think they can find things in the house, I'll never know. But there we go. Anyway, let me focus here now. Please get off my page. I don't need you trotting across the page. little bit more water here. And some of the lighter green. It's absolutely beautiful to see a field of sunflowers when you're driving through the farm areas. Okay, so now let's turn this sideways because it's easier. Sorry about the silences. I'm still practicing working and talking at the same time, but we'll get there. Please be patient. This is the one I want shorter than the rest. So that one, I'll just give him another centimetre of length. There we go. Gone out of the lines a little bit. Thank goodness for baby wipes. They really are a blessing. I'm not going to do too much of the stalk at the moment. It was just to get it up so that we knew where to glue our flowers. That will do. This one's a little bit untidy. Let's just give it a wipe. That'll do for now. Okay. Now you saw me earlier laying out the petals. So I'm just going to do it again. You'll see that this one is going to go off the page, but that's absolutely fine. It looks more natural if they're not all carefully positioned so that every single little detail is on the page. It makes it much more interesting when you do it this way. There we go. And the way I found to do it is to kind of overlap the petals by half, I would say. You know, put the one point, if you'll notice. Let me show you with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. What you do is, that is where the previous petal is. So you just put this one in the same, more or less the same place. And once you've got that sorted out, then you can fiddle a bit more and just see how this goes. But this is the general idea. I find it much easier to clip and work at the same time. I mean glue and lay out at the same time. Okay, that gives us a general idea. And now once more I'm using the glue stick. And I'm going to start here with this one. Put it there. Then on to number 2. I'll let you watch me do this first one, just so that you get the idea. You see it does lift from time to time because this paper is old and very hard. But that's okay because we just patiently keep attaching it. There we go. You'll notice the contrast between the background and the actual flowers, but that's deliberate because doing something like this actually makes your picture very bright and very abstract, which makes a change from time to time. I hope everybody's getting better weather now. I've been noticing that the people I follow on YouTube are all talking about what awful weather they're having in England and, well, in the whole of Great Britain and in the States. There's also awful weather happening. So yes, fortunately we're just getting like unseasonal rain, a bit of flooding in some low-lying areas, but not too bad compared to what can happen here. But yeah, I think weather patterns have changed so much. It's quite concerning, I suppose. I just try and ignore it because I have this attitude I've learned through years and years of experience of getting all huffy about things that I can't control. Actually, you ask yourself, does it affect you directly? If the answer is no, move along. If the answer is yes, ask yourself, can I change it? If the answer is no, just move on. If the answer is yes, ask yourself, if I affect the change, will it stay like that? If the answer is no, move along. You get my drift. And I find that way, by the time I've considered all my options, feeling far happier about everything, and I just let it all go because it's pointless getting upset about things you can't affect, you can't change, you know, and that you can't control. You have to just say to yourself, well, that's life, and we will get through it, and we will come out the other side that much stronger. Oh, that was very philosophical, was it not? Okay, you've now had to sit and watch me painstakingly gluing down petals for 2 sunflowers. So I'm going to, oh, this is what you do here. When you get to this one, you just lift the edge so that you can slide the other one underneath. And then all the petals are traveling in the same direction, which is what we want. Right, you can see how it's coming along, and I'm rather pleased with it. Well, here we are back again. We've got all 3 daisies pinned together, and then what I've also done off camera was to do the leaves some grass just to cover up a bit of the edge, and tidied up the stalks a little. It's not finished, but we've made a start there. Now I've got something rather fun. I was looking at the centers of the flowers and wondering what to do, because you know, the center of the sunflower is where all the seed is collected, all the seed is, and you have a rather large textured circle, usually about the size of a tea saucer, a teacup saucer, possibly a little bit smaller, but that's the general size. So you know, and it's full of these little black seeds. So I thought, what can I do that's textured and different? And I had this brainwave, because what I've done is I've crocheted, I don't know if you can see it, I took a fairly thick crochet cotton, and I've crocheted a 10 centimeter length. I'll tell you what it is in inches shortly. But it's just single crochet. If you don't have a crochet hook, you can do what they call finger crocheting, which is to make a little loop and you know, pull the thread through. But yeah, here we go. Now I'm just going to trim the tip, the cotton off the end here. Like that. And then I'm going to use the craft glue, because we do need a wet glue that's going to dry transparent and not get in my way too much. So let's start with the tallest one. There we go. It's quite a lot of glue, but I'm quite happy for this to be saturated, for the crochet cotton to be saturated. Now, because I don't particularly want to have my fingers covered in glue, I'm going to just grab a little tool here. It is somewhere. Here we go. It's just a brad awl for poking holes, but it will do perfectly, I think, just initially. Then after that, you know, just once I've got the first thing in place, then I can probably swap to the end of my paintbrush. Now I'm just going to get this wet in the glue and stick it down in the middle. Actually, I'm silly, I could have used my tweezers. Never mind. This will do. And the fun thing about doing it this way is we've got more texture again, you know, which is quite nice. It makes the completed project quite interesting because of all the different textures that are here now. What I will do also is, having completed this little thingy with the crochet cotton, is I'm going to stick it down even further with liquid matte medium. Once it's in place and this craft glue has dried, then that's what I will do. We just need a touch more. I've actually got some empty bottles with a much finer nozzle. I really need to put some glue in there. I wanted to experiment and put the glue in there and see if it'll stay wet. It won't dry out on me or anything. and it won't plug up the tiny little opening that's in these bottles. But I suppose I'm never going to know unless I actually put some glue in a bottle and give it a try. Sometimes us old ducks tend to get a little bit slack. You kind of think about things and don't ever take it any further. Right, we're getting there. Just pull that one a little bit tighter. Sorry, I know it's you're mostly looking at just my finger, but how's that? Let me cut off the last little piece of thread, and I think that's going to be quite effective. I'm not having much luck, am I? There we go. I think in future what I must do is trim off those long threads before I tackle the job of sticking down with crochet. There we go. It should hold it firmly in place, I think. There. I think that's rather lovely. Just got to make sure that that little bit at the bottom there looks like a proper circle. If it doesn't, teeny little dab of black paint will do the trick. And no one will know except you and I. Another little dab of glue. I think the crochet cotton's quite thirsty. Gotcha. There it is. Right. Let's go on to the next two. Part of my learning curve is going to be to learn how to fast forward through a piece of the video. So I'm going to stop talking now and just focus on doing this, and what will happen is when I'm editing the video, if I've found out how to fast forward, I shall fast forward through this this next piece. If I haven't learned how to fast forward, then there's a very strong possibility that I will just edit this next little piece out just for the sake of timeousness. Is there such a word? I think so. Okie dokie, let's start in the middle. I think this is quite a good idea to get everything nice and wet with the glue first. There we go. Sorry, I must got to keep remembering that people need to see what I'm doing, not just the back of my hand. Let's try this. I think this will be a lot better. Yes. Round and round we go. Need just a little drop of glue there again. And they call this glue wet glue. They're not kidding. I mean, it's really liquid. It comes out of the little nozzle like water. But it really is a very good glue. There we go. How's that? I'm getting much quicker, aren't I? You, my darling, are out of shape. Let's just put you back. Well, I changed my mind yet again. I just stopped the video while I prepped this lot and then started it up again, because I think it might be better to just finish this video in the normal way that I've been doing it, and to promise myself that I will do some more tutorials on video editing and learn all about soundtracks and fast forwarding and voice overing and all the other things that they natter about next week, so that the next video has all the fancy bits attached, not this one. I'm trying to stick to my plan, which is to put out one video a week initially until I am familiar with the process. And once I'm familiar with the process, then I will make an attempt to do it more often. But just for now, for the sake of giving the appearance of knowing what I'm doing, even though I may not necessarily do so. What happens when you let your fingers get full of glue and it starts drying is the thing you are gluing down attaches itself to you. Right, one last little dot and we're done with that section. Now, I have also remembered as I'm chatting here and planning my next move, that there's a couple of things that I haven't laid out on my table in preparation for this exercise, so there will be a very short gap as I leap to my feet, totter over to the cupboard and get out what I need next. Well, there we are, all three centers of the sunflowers completed, and now I'm going to start with the touching up the leaves and the stalks. Slightly unprepared here today. You see, even my water container is recycled. It's an old dishwashing liquid bottle that's been cut in half, and I use it for my water. Okay, paintbrushes, leave it off the glass plate. I've managed to move this now so that at least you can see what I'm doing here on the glass. Just want to see if I can highlight the leaves a touch. Yeah, that'll be nice. Once it dries, it's difficult, so difficult to see when it's wet because of the lighting in here. But that's fine. We need a little bit of paint on here. Let's have a look and see how we're doing. Just see where to highlight as well. Sometimes it helps if you know. Sorry, I'm in a little bit of a nonsense mood this morning. I'm actually feeling very happy because things are going well with this video. Our family are all well. My cat has been yodeling and performing, but he's now decided to go to bed, so he's off to have a little sleep, which means that we don't have our peace disturbed by him performing. And I don't know if I've said this before, but it bears repeating. If you're going to do some fiddly painting, don't be afraid to turn your work. It doesn't matter if you're applying it on and the picture is upside down, as long as you're able to add the color you want to. Why worry? There we go. This should make a bit of a difference, I think. It doesn't have to be remarkably lighter and brighter, but it just gives it a little bit of a lift. So not this murky dark green lurking in the background. Let's go down the edge here. Might have to come back and just do it with a green that's a little more opaque than this one. This one is quite translucent, which means that it doesn't cover over as well as it could. And it means you don't get your contrast and your highlights in a satisfactory manner. But we will wait and see until it's dry, and if it is not quite bright enough, then I can just add a little bit of white gesso to a green paint. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a very nice trick. If you need to make something opaque, don't waste your white paint. Just put a dab of white gesso in the paint, because it is so opaque. It will make sure that it covers properly. And you won't have to put 2 or 3 coats of white paint. You'll just put one little bit of gesso. Right, that is looking a bit greener, I think. Now, what do you think? Oh yes, we can definitely see some color, some light and shade there now. So let's continue with the leftover green paint that's sitting here and just throw a few highlights in the grass. Painting grass is dead easy. In fact, this is another thing that works better when it's done upside down, as far as I'm concerned. But you just random stripes. And there you have the impression of grass. Aren't we lucky? There. Okay, better? Yep. Awesome. Sorry, I have to look at it as well, just to get it into the light. Yeah, that is looking great. I don't think I need to do any more to those leaves and grasses. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to use paint to darken the edges, and I'm going to use that very dark brown of ours, the Van Dyke brown, Van Dyke. Let's put that here. See, it's exceptionally dark, but diluted enough, it gives a lovely rich brown. So that is my intention. Just a tip and just a touch of color. Just want to do this to kind of highlight the petals a bit, because I think that will be quite nice, don't you? If we can actually see the shape. I notice the overseas artists are using these colors for sunflowers. I'm not sure what it's like over there, but here the commercial sunflowers, you know, the ones that are grown for their seed, they're just a bright yellow. They don't have the sort of orangey tones. But hey, this is, what do they call it? Artistic license. We need this color to make our sunflowers pop. Yeah, it gives it more of a sunflowery look, or should I say a 3D look, not a sunflowery look. We don't want it quite as stripy as what it is. That's better. A little more paint. I actually think I prefer these without the shading. It's too late now, so we'll just carry on. Because it's not the end of the world, it's just that I would have preferred it without. But you know what? This is a learning curve for you and for me, because some of these things I haven't attempted in the past. It's the first time. I'm not going to tell you which ones. But I think I'm doing all right. This one I've decided is catching more light than the others, so it's not as dark. Now this petal needs to be darkened down a bit because it's in the background, isn't it? Here we go. I rather like that, except for that little, where's it? That little white patch. Much nicer. Much nicer. Another little white patch. There we go. I think we've done very well. I rather like the way it's ended up looking. Possibly a bit of shading needed around the leaves and so on. So just in case we're using up too much video time, what I'll do is I will switch off the camera again and I'll do the darkening, the shadowing on the leaves off camera, and then we'll pop back on again for me to go around the edge of the page and finish it off nicely. Okay, light and shading completed. Let's have a look here. You can see it's made quite a difference. And now what's left is the edging of the page and possibly a little bit of tweaking around the outlining of flowers and leaves and stems, etc. But before we do that, I need to give this page a coat of liquid matte medium, because that seals it, and it means that there's going to be no problems in the future with smearing and smudging, etc., etc. So before we start, let me grab a decent sized paintbrush for this. There we go. We're working on the whole page, so let's just hurry up and get it done. Hey? I always like the way this works. Hope the creaking chair's not getting to you guys too much. It's not the newest of chairs. I have had it for some time. Right, that should be enough to do the whole page with a dry brush. It's not wet, but there we go. We'll splosh it on. Make sure everything's covered. I've managed to get it everywhere. So having done that, folks, we go back off camera because we need to now wait for this to dry. And when we come back, it'll be the final stages, just the edging of the page. And once again, I will see you very shortly. Okay, people, here we are at the last little piece of the video. I completely forgot to mention the comments that I wanted to use on this page, or sentiments, call them as what you will. But what I've done here is I've put psychedelic skies and sunflowers. Winter is coming. Now, the psychedelic skies, I'm quite amazed that I've actually remembered. This is a kind of a hippie, call it a font if you like, or style of writing, that they used a lot with their posters in the 1960s. And I'm surprised that I remember how to do it. But the skies in Africa are truly psychedelic as winter starts to come. The dust in the atmosphere, the last few rain clouds, that sort of thing, you get the most amazing colored sunsets. And believe it or not, blue and purple and turquoise are part of that sunset. So that's why I thought it was a good idea. Anyway, to business. You can see that I've finished the sunflowers now. What I did there was to let me put the book down. Was to use my fine black permanent marker just to outline the petals and do little sketchy stripes in the petals, you know, sort of indicating creases in the flowers. And this is quite funny. I must tell you about this. I wasn't sure what to do. I didn't know if I would like to see a strip of black with white print on it across the bottom of the page. And eventually I had this little brainwave. I hope it's a brainwave anyway, but do let me know what you guys think. What I did was I used Tipp-Ex, you know, the good old-fashioned eraser for typewritten words, and I used a Tipp-Ex kind of pen. That seems to be the latest thing for school kids, and I bought one once just for fun, and I used that, and once it was dry I outlined it with the fine black pen. I think it looks really cool. I don't know what you think. Anyway, that's it, folks. Video number 4 done and dusted. I hope you enjoy it. Please comment so that I know if I'm on the right track with you guys, if I'm keeping you interested. Incidentally, my plan for next week is to possibly show you my stash, which is all the bits and pieces that I've picked up and put away because I've looked at them and thought I can use this. So if you'd like to see that, I'll happily bring that out instead of doing a page in this book, because I think it'll help you a lot to start collecting your own stuff if you're interested in doing the art journaling with me. So that's it. It's the end of the day, and I wish you all well. Stay well and stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys. Bye.